Hey guys, so happy Christmas and almost New Year. I wanted to do something very special by the end of the year for you guys. And so I invited my husband on to be on my podcast. So for my very last episode of the year of 2021. And I'm really excited because, he is involved, like I said, in everything that I do anyway. So I was just, wanting him to come on and join and so you guys can meet him and he can meet my audience. So here he is, Darryl Moore. Hey babe, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. So we're just going to recap on our year as a couple and as our year as business owners, because he also owns his own business, and as parents, because that is definitely 90% of our lives. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So Darryl, tell us a little bit about you. I didn't really introduce you because I wanted people to hear who you are from you, because of course I'd be biased of who you are. So you want to tell everybody who you are and what you do?
All right, my name is Darryl Moore, and I am.
Talk. I'm not gonna edit this out, so I'll just talk. You're so silly. Come on, baby. Stop.
Yes,
Go ahead. Oh no. Go ahead.
Okay. So you want to start off?
Oh my gosh. So this is my life, y'all. Go ahead, baby.
All right. My name is Darryl Moore. I'm the husband of Ebony Moore. I have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, and I actually own my own business. And so a little bit about my business. I do vending. This started right when the pandemic hit. It was an idea that I had. I used to do vending, but I wanted to do it for myself. And so I'm currently doing just my business now. I was working a regular job and my business was growing. And so it was either one or the other. And so no time to be able to do my business, working a regular job. So I put my notice in, and now I'm currently doing my business full time. And I love it because it frees me up to be more available for my family, for my children, for my wife, and also to run errands for everybody.
Definitely to run errands, because you know how we are, like, especially I know, like, if I'm off work and everybody's at work or at school, and then my kids know that I'm home, or if my family, somebody in my family knows, it's like, hey, ain't you off today? Can you go do this? Can you go do that? So yeah, so that now he gets to be that person. So I'm happy for that. So if I ever want something for lunch, I can just say, hey babe, can you bring me something for lunch?
I'm saying I'm busy, I'm working.
No, he loves it. He loves it. So we're definitely casual tonight. You guys get to see my puff and my swoops and my poo shirt. And so we're definitely being comfortable tonight because we had a great holiday. My mom was here, my aunt and family was over. And so we're just kind of laid back, and this is the end of the year, so I'm not really trying to do nothing extra special to myself at the moment because I'm not going nowhere. We're definitely in the house for the next couple of days. So anyways, but that is why, I'm extra comfortable and casual tonight, and him with his dad's t-shirt on. But anyways, so that's who he is to him. So to me, he is definitely, the love of my life, my husband, like I said before, my one and only, all 4 of my kids' father. We've been married for 16 years this May, right?
May.
Right. Or are we already married for 16 years? I think we've already been married. I think we're almost 17 years in. So it'll be 17 years in May. Yeah, because my son will be 16.
Yeah.
Yep.
17.
Yeah, so it'll be 17 years in May. So we've been together for a while, you guys. And it's not been easy. It's been rough. You guys have heard some of my journey, on my podcast, which is one of the reasons why I started my podcast, was just to share my journey with people and to let them know, that regardless of what you guys go through in life, period, not just in marriage or relationships or whatever, anything worth having is worth fighting for, sticking with it always is always worth it. And it's not going to be easy. We've cried, we've fought, we've loved each other, we've done everything. Half of our babies have been makeup babies, so that's okay. we were fighting and making up, but hey, they here, so we can't push them back. So it is what it is. But we definitely had, we've had a great success as a marriage couple because we're still married. And, our children are the evidence of that. A great marriage, a great marriage doesn't mean that it was easy. It definitely doesn't mean that, it wasn't hard. It just means that we stuck together and we're still here together and we're fighting through everyday challenges together. And the world brings on enough challenges as it is. So we try not to add that into our marriage as well. But anything you want to add?
Well, sound like you're doing good.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I'm trying not to be like, interviewing him. We're supposed to be doing this together. So that's why. This is very unscripted tonight. And like I said, it was a surprise. So, we just want to do it together. Anyway, so.
Well, I will add one thing. I think that the challenges, on this year with, COVID and all of the rest of the things that have came, I think those things have actually made us like grow stronger together. It actually allowed us to see, well, I'll speak for me. It allowed me to see areas that I needed to work on, areas that I needed to come up in. And so, when you face challenges in life, it shows you who you are and, in the way that you respond to them. And so this year has actually, brought us closer. It's made us work harder, because it's, when you're together a little bit more, there's aggravation, irritation, and all of those things. And so, I've actually got to know my kids a little bit better, know my wife a little bit better. And so, those things actually, make things great because, you're working toward, a certain goal. So, this has definitely been a challenging but awesome year. And like my wife was saying, just having the mindset to stick in there, and to stay the course, and I think that's the best thing that we can give our families as husbands is for us to stick in there, not for us to bail out, when things get hard or bail out when things, are tough, but to stick in there so that our children know what to do when things get hard, to work through the issues, work through the complicated times, work through the struggles and the hard times. And so this year has definitely made us stronger. And I think that's what makes us great is because we have gotten stronger through the things that we went through. Those things didn't kill us, they just made us better. And that's one of the things that we have to realize is not to allow things to make you bitter, but allow things to make you better. So, and this year has showed us, what we need to change, what we need to work on, what we need to do better, and also what we may have already been doing well. And so to just keep on striving and keep being who we were created to be.
Right. So what I do want to touch on when you were talking about COVID, because no, that was 2020 when we all had to stay at home or whatever. But dealing with COVID this year, being in the medical field, because I don't get to, I don't get the breaks that everybody else gets when the numbers get high or whatever. I still have to go to work and still have to fight on the front lines and testing and swabbing and, triaging patients and doing all that good stuff that I love to do. But I'm not complaining. I wouldn't take anything for it. Obviously, I'm still in the medical field, so I love what I do. But definitely one challenge, was for me as being a mother, it was bringing it home, knowing that I'm bringing it home, knowing that I'm testing people and testing other people's kids and, taking care of their parents and grandparents, and then having to deal with, okay, when I get to the house, I gotta go straight to the shower, take a shower, take off all my clothes, and this and that and other. And then, those days where, oh, you don't get to go straight home, because everybody has games and you got to meet for this and you got track meets and we got wrestling meets. And so those days, where you're a little weary because I'm leaving the office and then I'm being around another crowd of people. And, so that was kind of one of my challenges of being a mom this year, dealing with COVID and a wife. I don't really think I think about us though, dealing with that. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I guess as parents, we're never our first thought, like, I think about my kids. I don't worry about him like getting sick. I'm like, he'll be fine. We'll be fine. If we get it, we get it. My first thought is always my kids. So, but anyway, that was that. We dealt with a lot with our kids experiencing things on this year. And you guys, I'm usually pretty open with you guys about everything that I go through. So, we've dealt with vaping. My kids want to experience vaping on this year. Me feeling like a failure as a parent because of that, and then I took it on as definitely as it was personal, like it was a personal attack because I feel like, if I don't do it in my house, you don't see me doing it. I don't care who else is doing it. Like I'm your first example. So why aren't you following my example? That's kind of how I took that. But then I had, after we talked to our kids and we kind of understood, it was them just wanting to try things and wanted to fit in and wanted to be like everybody else. I felt like it was a double attack. Like, wait a minute, like I didn't raise you to be better than this, and I have a modeling studio like that teaches you confidence, that teaches you self-esteem, that builds who you are. And my husband, like, Darryl is an elder or a minister, whatever you want to call him. I know everybody has different religions and different things in church or whatever, but in our Church of God of Christ, he's an elder. And I'm like, your dad's a preacher, like, what are you doing? And it's, so I took it as a personal attack this year. I won't say it got me depressed, because we've already gone through a lot of hills and challenges with our children, but it definitely weighed down on me, like really heavy, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I kind of still don't know how to deal with it. All I know is to pray. And it's funny because you hear that a lot. People like, you just gotta put it in God's hands, and God has taken care of them. The Bible says you raise children up in the way they should go, they'll never stray, they'll always come back. And it's like, I need them to do it now. It's like, because you don't want your kids to experience things that you experience. Well, I didn't really experience a lot of those things. My husband kind of did. And I didn't, I'm just being honest. I mean, I was sheltered. I was very sheltered. So, but I got to see a lot of those things. And so I kind of felt like, no, like I don't, I want to protect you, I want to keep you protected. And so I didn't really want my kids to kind of venture out into that. Like I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like they shouldn't have ventured out, like I feel like, I don't know. I know kids are gonna be kids and I can't really control that part of their lives. I can only like everybody says, raise them up the way that they should go and, just leave it in God's hands. But I feel like the more I say it, it's a cliche, but I know it's not, because I trust in my Father, and I trust in God and I trust in His Word. But I feel like, oh, no, they should just do what we tell them to do. Should be that simple, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, because like we do what we supposed to do all the time. But no, one of the things that I picked up from you was actually having the conversation with them. Because, starting off, I was the dad that, something bad, I'm raging. Like, and so, over this year, I've learned to just listen and interject, in different areas,
Right.
So when we're talking, so giving them that place of being comfortable enough to actually talk to you about what's going on, so even just reflecting back on the vaping situation, I had questions. I asked a lot of questions, I asked how did, my child feel like this did my child feel like this was going to affect them, or, why did they do it? How much were they doing it? Where did they get it? And so just breaking down those barriers and actually dealing with it, because yes, I definitely agree that we definitely need to pray, but we also actually have to attack the situation without attacking our children at the same time.
True.
And so, that was one of the things I picked up from my wife, actually creating that atmosphere where if there's an issue or a problem, they can come to you. Or, in our life, most of the time, I tell my children, y'all can't really hide nothing because we're going to find out. God always reveals it in some type of form or fashion.
Definitely. One of the perks of being in a Holy Ghost filled home.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's always revealed. And so, we're tasked with how do we handle this, And, in the beginning, we were like, we're going to take this, we're going to shut you down, no TV, no this,
no phone,
that,
no friends.
But as you maneuver through it, you do try to close off some avenues that's gonna, hurt them in that area. But you realize you can't keep your kids in a closet and keep them locked up.
We want to.
So
I think that would be good, but we can't do it.
and so you actually have to work through the issues with your children. You know, you actually have to be able to talk about what they're going through, to ask the tough questions. You know, do you like doing this? You
You
know,
can't be like, what?
and you
That's
know,
what's up.
and being able to keep a straight face.
Yes,
you know,
that's the hardest part.
you know, and not getting upset when you find out things that you didn't know.
Right.
You know, because you definitely do not want to close off that wall.
Right.
Or create a wall where they can't come
Right.
to you and talk about those things. And so after doing all of that, you know, one of the biggest things that I try to do is, you know, in my devotion time, I just go into prayer. And sometimes, you know, God will give me a way to deal with it, and sometimes he doesn't, you know. And so in the times that he doesn't, you know, you just continue to keep check, you continue to pray for them, you know, and just continue to believe God. And so when you look at, well, I won't speak for nobody else, but when I look at my life, you know, I definitely know that there's hope for my children, you know, because they're not as bad as I was. And so she was good all her life.
I mean, I had a little boy issue, but I never did like the drugs and the drinking, and you know, I was just a typical girl, crazy about boys. That was probably it. But I didn't see the point in drinking and smoking. You know what I'm saying? Like, now my best friends, they were pretty, you know, into it, but it just wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing. So yeah, I kind of frown upon people who do that. Like, what are you doing? You know, and not to mention being in the medical field, like you have so much information, and it's just kind of like you're doubly stupid. But you can't say that to your children, even though you want to. I mean, I'm just keeping it real with you guys. You guys know how we doing here, but yeah, being in the medical field and just knowing everything, and just, I guess because I always had standards too. Like, it don't even matter. Like, it does matter that I'm in the will of God. You know, I want to stand in the will of God. It does matter. My Christianity matters. But to me, to have standards about yourself, to respect your body, to love who you are, you know, it's just, that matters to me. Like, I don't have to fit in with everybody else, you know. So that's kind of my biggest thing with my kids now. It's like, forget them. Like, start your own trend, be your own person, you know. But I know hearing it from your parents is totally different than hearing it from your friends. And so that's why it's, you know, really important for me to do this podcast, to have my own modeling studio, because I just want them to know, you know, everybody out there isn't looking to fit in. Some people want to be who they are. They just need an avenue to be who they are, you know. So, and it's okay to be who you are.
It's true.
Right? Right. But those conversations with trying to keep a straight face, you know, let them talk about the different things they're experiencing, and the guys that the girls like, and the boys, and Lord, the boys and the girls that they like, it's just crazy. It's definitely never boring. We never have a boring moment with any of our children.
And I think you said something, when you talked about some things you never did. That's definitely a challenge when you're parenting and your kids do things that you never did. Yeah, because it's like you just can't identify in that area, and that makes it tough. But when
I got a wild boy, a bad boy, I guess that's what they call him. Oh,
but when you look at it, I mean, challenges and things are really not that different. You know, it may be different, but it's still a challenge. You know what I mean? It's still something that you're dealing with. You know, so it's tough. It's tough walking through things with your children that you had no interest in. Yeah, that you didn't. You know, so and you know, so one of the biggest things I learned is, you know, make sure that your children know that you're against the sin that they're doing and not against them. Right. You know, and that's a real hard balance. Yep. Two different things. You know, you definitely want them to feel loved, but you don't want to condone the things that they're doing that are bad. And so that's definitely a balance. You know, and you actually want to tell them that it's nothing against you. It's about what you're doing, and you know, and this will lead to you destroying your life or destroying other people's lives. You know, so we're in a generation now where, you know, I think it's better for you to explain a lot of things. We didn't get a lot of that. No, we didn't. You know, we didn't get a lot. Do as I say. Yeah, do what I told you to do. Because I said it. but now, kids are like, well, why, and
Yeah.
you got to be confident enough in who you are to be able to
As a parent,
explain
yep.
your convictions and why you don't do certain things. Now,
That's
does
true.
that mean that they're going to agree? Even if you give them a response? No, it don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you want to do what you want to do, then, nothing really makes sense.
No.
But what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's still on us, and it's still our job to, continue to train our children, in the way that they should go.
Right. And you're never done raising them. A friend of mine said that. She was like, oh no, at this point I'm done raising them. I'm just helping them with their decisions. So my 15-year-old came home and tried to say the same thing. Like, you lost your mind. No, I'm raising you. We're not friends. I'm not guiding your decisions. I'm still raising you. Sorry. No, because like I told my daughter, I was like, your mind isn't done developing until you're 21 years old. Why in the world would I allow you to make your own decisions at 15? What the mess I look like? But anyway, but to each his own. I'm not saying anything against my girl because that's her household. For my household, we're not making decisions. I'm still raising you. You can ask questions. You're more than welcome to say, this is what I want to do. This is what I think you should let me do. True, I feel you. I understand. I understand how you feel. But the reality is we ain't gonna do it, And so those are those conversations, we had the big conversation about makeup and, the hairstyles and the different outfits. And I know every mom goes through that has girls. And it's just, I guess it's doubly hard for me because we have the modeling studio, because they do different shows. Because I started modeling at a young age and my mom was like, well, you would wear makeup. I get that. But each parent should know their child. And because I know who my daughter is, this particular daughter, we have to kind of hold back on some things. And it's not saying that, she's just wild and gonna be whatever. It's just that her, she's already developed and she already looks like she's 18. So I can allow you to dress like you're 18 because you're only 15 and you just turned 15 a month ago. So yeah, So anyway, those are the conversations we have with our kids. And as fun parents, all the fun that goes along with that. But let's talk about our business, doing our businesses while working, because you just, like you said, you just recently, 2 weeks ago, came off of your 9-to-5 plus, doing your business. I still do my 9-to-5 plus my businesses, and we're raising children and all this. So how hard was it for you this year doing your 9-to-5 plus your business?
It was a challenge. I found little days here and there, that I could go and work my business. But it got to the point where I was expanding and my company was really not willing to work with me on, being off on days. And actually, they shut down the day that I had, even though I had someone to cover for me. And so one of my prayers since the pandemic hit was that I wanted to be more available for my family. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to get back to that place. And, so when the pandemic hit, we were off for a little while and we just got time to just spend with the kids, play games, not to be in a rush to do anything, getting to know them, getting to know me better around them. And so just that freedom. And so I had been really wanting to get back to that place. But of course, fear is there. I got bills, I got this, I got that. And so I really felt like it was a push, so it came down to, are you going to pursue this, business, or are you going to continue to stay on the 9-to-5? And for me, I've always been a person that never wanted to work for somebody all of my life. And so, this was just really a good opportunity for me to venture out and do business. And, of course, after getting, an approval from God, it was just like,
And his wife.
Yeah, definitely. She was the first approval. But I spent time in prayer and my devotion. God showed me when it was time for me to leave, and it worked out. It worked out. I even saw, the favor of God as I was leaving, actually getting paid for time that I didn't even work, so, now I'm in a place where I can pretty much make my schedule and do, the things that I need to do and expand even more, So um, I feel like, God was really wanting me to take the limits off, stop doing things because it makes sense to you, or stop doing things because, everybody else does it, or stop doing things because this is a safety net, because at any time anything can happen, so this really just put me in a better place to be able to work for myself, expand my business, and be available. And one of my biggest things was I realized that my kids are teenagers, and so everything that I need to do, for them, I need to do it now. So I can't wait until they turn 18.
Right.
And so on the job, working 50, 60, 70 hours, coming home and, just being, exhausted. I remember my wife saying, you give the job 100%, we're not getting 100%. And so this was definitely a turning point, and so I feel like that, not only did I do this for my family, but I also did it for me, so, and not just trying to save my family, but I think this move actually saved my life also, and so I'm excited. It's definitely a venture, and my sales are up. Things are looking good. Prospects are looking good. The growth is looking good. And so it's peaceful being able to, plan at your own. And I don't have to put in a vacation day now if I want to spend time with my family.
Right.
I don't have to try to put in vacation and wait for it to get approved if we want to go out of town. So this just really just freed me up. And I like what I do. That's one of the biggest things. My daughter asked me a few months ago while I was still on the job, she said, "Daddy, how was your day?" And I said, it was terrible. And she looked at me and she said, "Why do you still work there?" And of course, I said, "Well, I got responsibilities. I got things I need to do." But that question was in the back of my head, like, why do you still work there? You know, and I think the worst has already happened. The pandemic has already hit. Like, there's no need for us to fear at this point. Whatever you have in you, now is the time for you to use what you have in you to be great. Before it's too late. Because we don't know how much time we got, and I don't want to live my life with regrets. I don't want to live. I don't want my family to regret that I was always busy. I was always working, and I was never there. So,
Right.
This was just a great opportunity, for me to be closer to my family and for me to grow a business that I could actually pass down to them also.
Right.
And so with working a job, it's not too much you can pass down. Most of the money that you make, you spend. And so this has definitely just created just a better environment, a better atmosphere. And so my goal now is to work hard enough and to make enough money where my wife can do the exact same, and just focus on her business, even though she loves what she does. She loves working in the medical field. I actually hated my job, and so I would run into people and they would look and see the name of my company. They're like, "You work it?" And I won't call the name, and I'll be like, "Yeah, how you like that?" I don't like it there. I did it, for my family, but and now the decision I made, I've done it also for my family. So I'm looking for great things on this year. Definitely things have already been well, and then definitely things are definitely moving. So
Right. Awesome. I would say for me on this year, I had a lot of health challenges and it was awful. Like, and then I felt like I was a failure when it came to my business because I wasn't able to do everything I was doing. But then like today I was laying in the bed recuperating and thinking about it again. And I was like, if I did everything that I wanted to do this year, I probably wouldn't have been out of the hospital. I mean, I know for sure 2 times in the hospital just because of exhaustion and dehydration. And one of those times I went in, I was supposed to have like two or three things going on with the studio, and we had to postpone them. And then I was like, I was depressed about that. I was very depressed about that because I felt like, I couldn't do everything I was supposed to do. And I felt like, I couldn't promote my business and do what I was supposed to do with my business because of my body, not knowing my body was just saying, we just can't do it right now. So, and I don't know how to listen to my body. I think it's like the second time. I don't know how that's happened to me that I didn't know my body was exhausted and ended up having to go to the hospital. But, I guess that's just because who I am, my makeup, I'm just wired to go and to work and to do what I got to do to push forward. And just, I gotta figure out how to hear what my body is saying at the same time. But on the other hand of that, my business lasted a year, my studio lasted a year. I had people to come into my studio and join the studio. We had two great, amazing shows this year. Photo shoots, my podcast is doing great. So, there are things that I definitely need to give myself credit for doing. I just feel like I could have done more. I guess, I know I couldn't have, let me rephrase that. I know I couldn't have physically, but there were things I wanted to do more that just didn't get accomplished. But
And so because I live with her and I know her, she took a lot of huge strides starting the business. I mean, some major things. And I think because she has so many ideas and so many visions, she really wants to get them done all at once. But
not all at once.
a lot of the things that she did could have been like expanded, like over the next few months, over the next year. But she did a whole lot of things, because they were on her mind to do. And so one of the biggest things is, with her business, she really has to pace herself. I can think of at least 10 things that she did that were major, that normally when people go in business, they don't do those things right away. But like I said, just because of like all of the visions and the ideas, just sitting down and just listening to like every week, it was something new that she wanted to add to the business. She wanted to expand the business. She wanted to do for the students, for the models, bringing people in to, do different paintings to show how to do different things. I mean, it was just a whole lot. And then not only that, but the fashion shows, all of the work that went into doing the fashion shows, bringing people in, setting up things, finding the venues, bringing in special guests, training them, training the models, hiring the DJ, so there's a lot of different things went into like the business that my wife was doing, but I think that she minimizes those things because she has bigger things inside of her. But she really accomplished a lot in her business, and it was really great. It was really great. It was exhausting because she, like I said, there's always idea, it's always a vision, it's always something new. And there's also some other stuff that we talked about that she has, had implemented, that's pertaining to the business also.
I thought about one big project that I thought about today that we didn't even get to do. I thought about it. I think we came up with it last year when we were out of town in Gatlinburg. We went to go talk to Shanice Tony about it.
That's what I was thinking about.
And I was like, man, I didn't even get to put out plans for that one. Like, I can't even wait to get started on that. But that's definitely gonna be another 3 years before we get started on that. But because that's a really big project. But yeah, so my body played I feel like a huge hindrance this year. I've had COVID twice this year. A lot of people don't know that. I had COVID twice this year, back to back. And working in the medical field, like I said, it's just it ain't for the weak. I tell you that much because I got it, from the medical. I got it from my job. But anyways, I love what I do. So I don't see me leaving the medical field, even if I can come off my job. Like I just want to contract, and do what I want to do. But I love helping people. You guys know that from my podcast. Like helping people is a huge part of who I am. And my passion, I feel like it's just two different things. But my pastor told me this year that is my work. So and I had to take that in. I hadn't even thought about it since he told me that. So just now, but my passion is my ministry. So what I do, for people is also what I do for God. And I have to realize that it's all in one. But, I do look forward to 2022 next year. I already have, a big project coming up in April, two, actually, he didn't know, but, but two big projects coming up in April. And, I'm looking forward to 2022, bringing new things, doing different things. I don't like doing the same thing over and over, even for my studio, even for my business. It's like, yes, I have a business, but I don't want it to be repetitive, and that's just who I am though. Like I like setting goals for myself. You guys, I tell you guys that all the time. You gotta set goals. If you don't have anything to strive for, you just live day to day. And it just becomes repetitive. Like, who wants to live that way? Yeah, I don't really, and I told you guys, like, I do want to come off my job in 2 years, which now I have a year left, but I do want to come off my job, but I do want to go into a different field. I want to go back into cardiology and do sonography. So that way I can contract and make up my own hours and then still focus on my businesses and do what I want to do. So I did start going to school for that. Then the pandemic hit and then we kind of stopped, like everything paused. So I haven't went back to school to finish that. But that's just who I am. Like I don't see, my podcast stopping. I don't see my business stopping. I already found a building for my studio this year. I found the building 2 years ago and I'm just believing God because that building is still there, it's still vacant. And I know that's what God wants me to have. So that's my goal for 2022 for my modeling studio is to get into my building so that, a lot of things that we did do, like looking for venues and trying to find different areas, stuff like that. I don't have to do that. That would eliminate, something. And so it also brings an overhead that I don't have right now. But I believe that, that's where God's gonna take my business. And he already told me he would. And that's what we're gonna do. So but yes, so as far as life as the Moore family, that is what I got. I mean, my kids, they do businesses on their own. My baby girl, she does sugar scrubs and stuff like that. My oldest daughter, she likes knitting and crocheting and baking. They all into sports. We got 3 basketball players, 1 wrestler. My girls play volleyball. I don't know if they're doing volleyball this year or not, but we ain't doing track. We're not doing track no more. I'm telling you that now. But yeah, so 2022, as a couple, I'm looking forward to bigger and better things. Less gifts, more trips. That's what I want. That's on my list. Unless you want to give me a couple of diamond rings, I'm down for that. But I want, more trips. I don't really know about the vaccination because you got to get vaccinated out of the country. So we're just gonna have to stay in the US for a while. but yeah, so what about you? What you looking forward to?
Definitely more trips. Like we're on the same page with that. And in the country, I'm sure.
Right. I'm in the medical field, y'all. I just, we just holding on. We ain't saying we not getting it. It's just, that's just a touchy subject for us. So it is what it is. Like I said, everybody got their own different stuff, each its own, And
it's a lot of people that's, seem like they're trying to bully people, into get it. A lot of people.
That's why I don't want it. Don't make me do nothing I don't want to do.
Get this or you gonna die. And so I was talking to somebody today and I'm like, I don't push my agenda on nobody.
Right. So don't push yours on me.
This ain't something that, I've done from the beginning, and God, and I prayed about it. And God said that, you need to get it. I'm all for it.
All for it.
But I hadn't heard anything. And I just don't see God as a God who would punish somebody for not getting the vaccination. Like, I'm gonna take you out because you
definitely not
that Pfizer.
Right.
You're gonna die.
Not the Pfizer.
That Johnson.
Johnson. Right.
So, people have their own convictions. I'm not against people who got it.
Nope.
I'm not against people who didn't get it.
Nope.
And this is sometimes that things are set out to just be another area for division for people. We don't have to be divided because of that. I don't have a problem with wearing a mask. I wear a mask, but we don't have to be divided. We're supposed to be able to love one another. And just thinking about the last variant, the last variant that just came out, there's no shot for it yet. So, anybody can get it, So what I've done is I've prayed for people that's sick, and I'm sure people prayed for me when I was sick, But I think that we need to focus more on loving people and not trying to love the decisions they make, because you're not going to agree with every decision people make.
We
You're
just
not
talked
even
about
going to
that
agree with
with the
every decision
kids.
that you make,
Right.
And
Just
so
love people where they are.
you definitely have to just love people where they are.
And like for us, we don't talk about it. We don't discuss it. We don't discuss politics, like not with each other. Like we discuss it with each other, but we don't discuss it like out with other people.
Right.
Like we don't discuss politics. We don't discuss religion. Like I don't. He might do because he's a preacher, but I'm just saying, like I let people live where they are, because at the end of the day, I know people probably don't like to hear it, but I don't have a heaven or a hell to put you in. So you're not living for me, and I'm not living for you. So, I love people. I love everybody. I love where you are, what you do. You love it. You like it. I love it. So.
Oh, I want to skip back to the parenting part. One of the things that I've realized over the years is that your kids are gonna go to the parent that they feel like I say yes.
He only bring this up because he feel like I'm that parent. That's not true.
And
that's not true.
It's not fair.
That's not fair. What you mean?
For you to find out things on the tail end because one parent agreed and the other parent didn't.
No, that's not the same thing.
So, just a bit of parenting advice.
What's the advice? I didn't hear it.
If your kids ask for something, tell them to ask the other parent.
Or we'll talk about it and we'll get back to you on it.
Tell them to ask the other parent. And the other parent,
we'll talk about
tell
it.
them to ask the other parent.
But then you won't have a decision.
And then we'll talk about it.
And then you won't have a decision. And then it's just too
yes right away, and we'll be saying no right away.
No. Whatever.
And now, seriously, we got to be on the same page, definitely as adults. Because kids can smell it. They can weed it out, like mom gonna let me do this.
That's crazy. But that's not true. I'm not like yes to everything. Don't listen to him. No, that's not true. I say yes when it ain't gonna bother nothing.
We'll talk about it.
Whatever. I will say, I'm glad that we have I guess my mom, my auntie, because there were times where I did want to say that, there were times where I felt like I just couldn't handle them. Like, not handle them, but I felt like if I dealt with them, I would have physically hurt them to the point where I would have been in jail. Because I can definitely remember a couple of times I dropped two of my kids. I was like, listen, you just stay over here so I cool off, because you need that in the family. Like you definitely need somebody to bounce off, and my grandmother was that anchor for our family. And then now that she's gone, everybody know ain't sis. So now that grandmama's gone, you don't really have an anchor in the family. But I'm thankful for my mom and my auntie for being those anchors when I needed to talk or call somebody for them. Because I'm like, listen, I'm at the end of my rope. I ain't got no rope left because it's all around their neck. I'm telling you. But that's another thing I had to realize. Like, you can't beat your children all the time. I thought you could. They told me you could. But it don't work. It don't work for all four of them either. So one of them, they just eat it up. Like, ain't nothing happening. But no, like seriously, you can't whoop them all the time for every little thing. Especially the older they get, you can't pop them, can't hit your girls all the time. My boys, I still crack their throat and their chest, but the girls you can't do that with. So you definitely have to figure out different avenues and different times and places how to handle them. For those y'all that's wondering, you can call me. We still breaking backs over here. No, I'm just playing. But seriously, but yeah, you got to be on the same page as parents. We on the same page. I mean, I ain't gotta ask them everything. Dang. We don't have to talk about everything. If ain't not gonna hurt nothing, right?
Depends on what's gonna hurt something.
Ain't that gonna hurt nothing?
You want to tell them about that party that you try to tell my kids already?
No, first of all, the party, that was not my fault. And I trusted my son because he always goes to, pretty decent parties. His friends are there, the parents are there. This particular party, it just wasn't my fault. So I ain't have no control of it. But I mean, he didn't go.
That's true.
So yeah, he didn't go. We just took him over there. He said, hey, then we left.
That's true.
Yeah. So he was fine. Everything turned out, everything.
So overall, this year has been a great year.
Yes, it has. What would you like to leave with my audience to encourage them for 2022?
2022.
Double digits.
I would like to leave. Go ahead and be great because the worst is already happened. The worst thing possible, the worst unimaginable thing that could have ever happened. The pandemic is it.
Yep.
Go ahead and be great. Start that business, do that venture, side hustle, whatever it is that you've been wanting to do. This is the time to do it. The worst has already happened. So you don't have to fear, and so I feel like, the platform has been laid out, where there's so much financial things that people are giving, grants, loans, all of this, stuff at your fingertips now that was not available before.
It was, we just didn't know.
Yeah, true. And so, it's more accessible now. So, I would want to leave, this coming year, don't live in fear. Be the best you can be. You ain't got to try to be nobody else. Be who God created you to be.
Yeah, I love it. For me, you guys, what I will leave you with for 2021 going into 2022 is, the year of abundance in business. I claim that right now. And, I'm not big on manifestation. So I'm big on the Holy Spirit and what God says in his word. So I believe that whatever he says, that's what we have, But yes, meditate on that. Abundance in business is what I've been given for 2022. And, as far as family goes, you guys, man, just keep getting closer. It's hard enough. Life is going to be hard enough. We go through a lot. We go through enough. Life throws enough things at us. And without family, it's just going to make it that much harder. I tell people every day, if my husband would move back home to Memphis, we would, because it's hard being in a city without enough help and enough family. So, we have my aunt here and, our church family. And it's just crazy how our kids are just getting older and they just need so much more, and it's like, we only 2 people. And that played a big part in my exhaustion this year, and it was just kind of like, whatever my kids need, whatever my husband needs, I'm going to do my best to give it. And so sometimes we run out of road and you need somebody else to help pick up that slack. So if you got family that you're estranged to, you got family that it just ain't clicking, something ain't working, forget about it. It was last year almost, so we've been going to a whole nother year. Love each other, get closer, do whatever you got to do. Forget it. If there's something you guys can agree on, then don't talk about it. It doesn't have to be discussed. Like me and my husband said, there are things that I'm sure we feel totally different about in our families too, but we ain't finna discuss it because if it causes division, then it's not worth it, right? So that's what I got for you guys. Love each other, be there for each other. Again, thank you guys so much for joining in on Boss Life Live. This has been fun. My husband, my boo, laughing, you guys getting to know him getting to know my audience. Send us a message, hit us up wherever you are. We're there, we're listening. Wherever you're listening on, you can always hit up Boss Life Live. Thank you guys so much for growing with us and loving us this year and just being my support all over the world. I love you guys so much. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment, like, subscribe, share. Let somebody else hear this that may need to hear it. Maybe you didn't need to hear it, or maybe you enjoyed it and you want to share it. Please do. Please do. And I will see you guys January. Okay. Happy New Year. Love you guys.
Love you guys.